guys, this is Nerd Sage. I'm going to make a video comparing two ships this morning, similar to a video that I made previously that compared the Constellation Taurus to the Freelancer Max. I want to compare the MISC Core to another ship that I'm sorry, excuse me, that I did not look at as a mini hauler, but now I can see that it can be a very useful mini hauler. In fact, a very powerful mini hauler. And which ship will that be? Well, first off, let's just look at the core, and I hope you've seen a video that I made on this ship. You can see that on my upload page. But the core is it's classified as a starter ship. So that means you're going to have like your minimum weapons and functionality, which is cool for when you're just starting out and you don't have have the resources to run anything bigger. So you really can't upgrade this ship too much. You only have two fixed size 1 hardpoints, and you have a gimbal size, which is made for the tractor beam here, and you can add a weapon here, of course, and a gimbal if you want. But this is not a combat ship. I wouldn't dare take this into combat unless I just want to embarrass myself. But it's still a very cool ship. But what ship am I talking about that I am pitting against this ship? Well, guess what? There it is. This is the Drake Interplanetary Cutlass Black. This is a mini hauler, believe it or not. They carry similar, well, they have a close to similar size when it comes down to cargo. The Cutlass carries, I think, 10 units more than the core. And they both come in packages, believe it or not. They do come in starter packages. This one, you can get this starter package. I think it's $75 for this one, and 110 for this one. So they both come in starter packages. They're both mini haulers, and it's obvious they're two different ships, but they're in the same class, believe it or not. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm pitting one against the other. When it comes down to mini hauling, the Cutlass Black will win hands down because one, it carries more, 2, it's bigger, 3, it's tankier, 4, it has much bigger weapons, 5, more weapons. So you could put like 3 size 3 fixed weapons here, or you can put gimbal size 2 weapons, which is what I did. When you first get your black, it comes with this one right here, a gimbal size 2 repeater, and it has 2 size 2 fixed weapons, the sucker punch cannons, which I still don't like because they have a slow rate of fire. And so I just replaced those with 2 more repeaters because I love these badges. They're really great and they're reliable. But if you have a core, please note that I'm not putting the core down. The core is still a really cool ship. It's very unique in the verse. It still turns heads. You're not going to see too many of these in the verse, really. Well, mostly because a lot of players got a hold of this ship and realized that, well, hey, I can't fight with this ship. And it's the truth. You really can't. You could probably put some better sized ones on here. You can put a gimbal weapon on the end. But the problem with the core is that the maneuverability. When it's in vertical mode, it becomes a really big freaking target. And in the game, you're going to come across a lot of like asteroid fields and debris fields and stuff, and something with a vertical wingspan is not a good idea. You're going to tear something up. And if someone shoots off one of your wings, you're pretty much useless. So this is not a really good combat ship, and I wouldn't recommend this for combat at all. But when it comes down to cargo runs and just your basic mission runs, yeah, sure, you can get things done with this ship, absolutely. But when I compare this to that, you have a big difference. With the Cutlass Black, you get a really awesome, powerful beautiful, beefy, tanky ship that can carry a small amount of cargo, which is great. So if if you decide to, let's just say you have one of those and you try to go to a hostile territory and you get blown up, well, that's because this ship here really can't maneuver that well. But this one here has powerful engines and much better weaponry. You have broadswords up top for a turret. Look at that, two nice sized broadswords up there. You get 8 big nasty missiles. These are some of the nastiest missiles in the game. These are rattlers and they're cluster missiles. So if you can see these little warheads on the top, when the missile launches, once it gets close enough to a target, it separates and these little warheads fly out and they pound into the target, and then one larger warhead flies in behind them, finishes the job. These are very nasty when used properly. And you also get dominators, and dominators are these here. These take a little bit longer to target or to lock on, but once they do and they're launched, these are almost like fire and forget it. When they hit hard, very, very hard, and they tend to send smaller ships into a tumble, which is great to your advantage because then while the ship is tumbling, you can lock on and fire another one, or wail away with your weapons. So I mean, this ship is really, really geared for action, and it's also tagged as a pirate ship. So a lot of pirates are going to be using this to attack other players, to steal ships, to steal property, that kind of thing. But this is not a pirate ship per se. It's not. It is a ship, period. And it all depends on the pilot. If the pilot is a hostile pilot, then this becomes a hostile ship. So you can fly this and not worry about being tagged as a pirate or something like that, unless you were doing some crookery and and they flagged you as a public enemy. Then yeah, of course you're a pirate. But in contrast to the core, this one holds a little more cargo and it's being remade. So the reworked Cutlass is going to be, I would say, almost twice as wide as this one. If you see the entry ramp here, and you note the size of it, see how thin that is? Now, if you just multiply this by 2, it's going to be just that wide. So, in addition to a much wider ship, you're going to have more storage space, which means it's going to hold twice as much than the core. And also, as a greatly added bonus, you'll be able to carry a Nox, a Dragonfly. In fact, I think you'll be able to fit 2 of them, either two Dragonflies or 2 Noxes, and rework Cutlass Black, which is really, really, man, that's amazing, because then that increases the functionality of your ship. It could be a carrier of sorts, So if you want to go to another planet, or you just want to go hang out with your friends or something like that, or you're flying escort, well, you could put a couple of Noxes back to a couple of Dragonflies, and those 2 smaller ships can fly escort to you. They could be your escort. So while you're escorting a larger ship, Dragonflies could be escorting you, flying your flank. How awesome is that? So you have so much more functionality than the core. And the core, of course, it can't carry a Nox or a Dragonfly. It's simply just, it does not have the room for it. As you can see, it's too low of a ceiling, it's too short. So it can't carry one of those. So it totally loses in that department, and also loses when it comes down to the weapons. But again, I'm not shooting it down. Remember, this is a starter ship. So starter ships do not have all the the top of the line stuff. This is just to get things going, help you get those credits flowing. And then once you get enough credits in, you can always upgrade this to that, which I probably recommend. I mean, this is kind of cool for like small stuff or whatever. But if you really want more functionality and more roles and more possibilities when it comes down to missions, you would need something bigger like this. You definitely need something like this. So I think I'm going to cut it there. So in comparison, when it comes down to these ships, the Cutlass Black wins hands down. No questions about that one. There's really no true competition there. But this will make a great mini hauler. So if you have one of these, don't despair. It's still a great little ship. You could use that for a while. But whenever you're able, or if you are so inclined, I would highly recommend you to upgrade your core to a Cutlass. And not only will you get yours, you will still have many hauling capabilities, but you will have many more options when it comes down to upgrades, many more choices when it comes down to weapons. You will have more missions open up for you. Plus, you have missiles on top of that because I think the core will come with one or two missiles when all is said and done. Because it still says on the website, and the specs still say that there will be like at least like one or two size 1 missiles installed on the core somewhere on this wing here. But why sit with this when you can get one of these with 8 missiles? And see, those missiles there come standard. So I mean, I can just like, I really like the Rattler. So I mean, I could put 4 more Rattlers on the other side. I'll have 8 Rattlers. Good God, that's like I said, the Rattler is a very, very nasty piece of machinery, especially when you use it correctly. So you get so many more options with a Cutlass Black. So whenever possible, if you have a core package, you can always just bump this up to a Cutlass and get so much more. Especially now since they're about to rework the ship and make it much larger, and you would get so much more ship for your buck, and you can make a whole lot more money with this. And again, this is a very big, very tanky ship, and so the remake will be even bigger and even tankier, and it will likely have larger firepower. So it looks like it may have more missiles than just 8, which is makes the hair on my skin, the hair on my skin stand on end. I mean, that's wow. This is going to be a very crucial ship. So, what other kind of things can you do with a Cutlass? Of course you can haul cargo in it. I think that's one of the obvious things that you could do with a Cutlass. Of course, pirates are going to use this to attack other players because you have a docking collar here, so you can dock with a cat and board it, and you can take it over and pillage it, whatever. That's what pirate players want to do. But what the good guys, what a good guy do with this Cutlass? Namely me. I'm one of the good guys. So what would I do with this one? Well, yeah, of course I would run cargo with this, and I would fly escort with this. You can also go on a combat with this ship too. I mean, this is not a punky ship. It's got some firepower, and it can move around a little bit. But you can I think you'll be able to might be able to do some minor exploring with this one. It doesn't have like a gigantic fuel tank, but I think you can add some long range scanners on it, maybe a jump drive, because I know the Cutlass Red comes with a long range scanner, so it can pick up distress signals. So you might be able to put a long range scanner on the Cutlass Black. Why not? So you could probably do some search reconnaissance missions, maybe some minor exploration. What else can you do with this? Of course, you could do some bounty hunting with this. Oh yeah, some bounty hunting. But since the ship doesn't have any holding cells like the Stalker, I think you just can't take the prisoners. So you just have to blow everything up. But can you do some bounty hunting with this ship? Absolutely, absolutely. Maybe they may even sell like holding cells for the back of this thing. Maybe maybe one of these days they might even offer that as a package or something. Because of course you have the Cutlass Blue, which is basically the police car. So I think like the Cutlass Blue has holding cells in the back of that one. So hey, there you go. Yeah, so you could definitely go bounty hunting with a Cutlass, most definitely. This ship, like I said, when you go up against a bad guy, this ship can take a lick and dish it out just as much. So you got bounty hunting, cargo runs, a little bit of exploring, some search and rescue, and this will be a great general purpose ship. So for just doing like regular missions or whatever, this you could do this. You could do regular missions or whatever, ICC missions and stuff with this ship, no problem. So again, in comparison, when I compare this ship to the core, Cutlass Black wins, uh, point blank. So if you have a core, I wouldn't feel bad or despair because I had one, but I just upgraded mine to a research vessel, to a Sin. But if you have a core, don't be mad. I mean, it's a cool little ship. It still has it has this really fly look to it. It's very unique. But but you have to remember that this is a starter ship and it has limited functionality. So if you want more, I would just upgrade this and get a Cutlass Black. So Cutlass Black is still, it's a mini hauler, but it just comes with so many more options, and so many more uses. And you would get a lot of use out of this ship. It's a beautiful ship. It's a head turner, and once they update the look of this ship and the size and everything, it's really going to turn heads. It's going to be an awesome ship. So there's my comparison for you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them down below. This is NerdState68. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.